while perusing the aisles at one of my many local Walmarts and lamenting at the fact that apparently Beyblades were a dick at a party and nobody invites them around anymore, which means if I want any new ones, I have to use eBay or Amazon, I noticed that the foam shooter aisle was basically empty. There was no Boomco, a few old Hasbro Nerf blasters, and not really too much in the way of Buzzbee, except for a couple of boxes, and I'm talking like 4 or 5. This was one of them, which was confusing, because this is a new blaster. They had the aisle empty, and yet this was a new blaster. This is the Air Warriors Air Max Baron from, again, Buzzbee. And Buzzbee has kind of a bad rap. They've always been second fiddle to Nerf, and rightfully so. They are the budget brand. They are never really meant to work, as good, and they've always been like the cheap options, just above dollar store quality. But there have been a couple of gems in that rough. The Air Max line with the pump action blasters, and like the Air ones anyway, like the Air Max Extreme and stuff like that, have all been pretty good to us. And yet, even with like the stuff like the Range Master, where it was pretty terrible, but we could rationalize having it because it was cool, for every one of those, there's an Air Tech, or, a frickin' Tech 3, Tech 6, Tech 12, whatever, Tommy Action 20, all that crap. Nobody really likes those that much. And yet, I wouldn't put this here if it wasn't either really good or really, really bad. And which is that? Well, you'll find out in a little bit. We'll start with the most obvious thing, these darts. These darts are pretty interesting. They're rather big. In fact, they're just the same size as your Nerf Mega Dart. So yes, these are Mega Darts in the Buzzbee brand. And that means that they're cheap Mega Darts. But that also means that they're cheap Mega Darts. In fact, here's my review of these darts. Don't use them. They are horrible. They didn't last anywhere. It didn't last at all. Because Buzzbee foam sucks. And that means that they're just kind of pointless as darts. They worked okay for the first shot, and that was it. They're done. These are much better, so if you're looking for cheap Mega Darts, I'd keep looking, in my opinion. Or maybe I just got bad darts, who knows. But this blaster here, you just kind of friction fit them in the front here. You'll notice they stick out like an inch. That's kind of dumb. That's one of my first criticisms about the blaster itself. Second criticism, this handle. This handle's terrible. I have baby hands. They look even worse on camera because they appear super fat for some reason. I assure you, they do not look that bad in real life. But for whatever reason, they look that bad on camera. But I can grab a Jolt. I have no problem grabbing said Jolt. Works fine. These, on the other hand, I can't. There's what are these nubs right here? Like, that's not even a grip. I can't put a finger in there. What were you thinking, Buzzbee? I guess this is for smaller hands, and they've had a really bad problem with small grips in the past, so I can't fault them that much, but ugh! So that's 2 problems right out of the box, but there's hope for it yet. For example, this Prime. It is super buttery. It feels great. The Prime is really, really, really nice. And the other thing is the performance. It hits just as hard as a Magnus, if not better. Well, not better, just about. Just about the same. That's really, 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 really good. For a Buzzbee blaster, that's astonishing. Keep in mind, it doesn't actually use like a smart AR system, like a Triad or anything like that. In fact, if I shoot this, it's not shooting out of that barrel, but if I pull it back again, it's going to shoot out of that barrel. And if I had to hazard a guess, when I pull this back, now it's on this barrel right here. If I pull that again, it's on this barrel. And you can kind of see it catching when I pull it back. Kind of catches on something. And I'm guessing it uses something similar to what the Vigilante uses, which is like a little disc that spins and has a hole in it to let the airflow go through. So that should be the top barrel, and it was. So, all in all, it's not terrible. In fact, it's pretty good if you can look past those flaws. And you're going to be able to look past those flaws because I haven't mentioned the price yet. This blaster is $5. $5 for this. Any criticisms that I had, like, this is a little bad, the dart's gonna stick out really, it doesn't matter because it's $5. It is cheaper than a Jolt. It is cheaper than a Big Shock. It's $5 for this blaster. That's the review. It's $5. It hits as hard as a Magnus. Go buy it. That's it. I couldn't say anything else about it. Because if you want to complain about the handle, you want to complain about the darts sticking out, it don't matter. And here's the best part. Because it's a Buzzbee blaster, this thing is going to be pathetically easy to mod. I already can guarantee that. I haven't cracked one open, but I'm willing to bet it is. Because they've all been really easy, and looking at these barrels, take out those air restrictors right there, just ram in some CPVC, and you've got yourself some really, really strong Nerf barrels. And even then, if you just want to mod it to shoot, Megas better, you can do that. Effortlessly, I'm willing to bet, because it's, again, a Buzzbee blaster. So, that's cool. I'm going to recommend you go pick one up, even if you're just a little bit curious, for $5. I mean, that's less than your coffee at Starbucks nowadays. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with this world?